So, another union in Hawaii strikes again. I guess this is how we do things now, huh? So if you haven't heard the news, this week 1,800 hotel workers are on strike at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Hotel in Waikiki. And wouldn't you know it, my parents happen to be staying at that hotel this very week. And most of the time, I just let it slide and just watch and observe. But I do want to talk about this because it has impacted my parents, and I just want to comment on this striking thing. So first, I just want to go over this article here. More than 1,800 hotel workers went on an open-ended strike Tuesday at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort, and their union, Local 5, says they will not return to work until they have a new contract. This affects local housekeepers, front desk agents, restaurant staff, maintenance workers, and other Hilton Hawaiian Village workers who are joining some 4,000 hotel workers across the US who are also participating in this open-ended strike. This isn't the first time that they've gone on strike. There was a short strike, I think like earlier this month, just a few days, and then there was a lot longer strike in 2018. And this time around, the union is asking for an increase in pay of more than $12 an hour. That's quite a raise. And one of the officers for Local 5 union said that this will go on until they get a deal. So this strike could be long. And just to put this into, I guess, a bigger context, estimates for Local 5 workers range from $17 an hour for tipped wait staff to about $38 an hour for engineers. And housekeepers get $28 an hour and make another $6,000 to $7,000 in gratuities. Oh boy, that's a lot of money. Hold on, let me get the calculator on that one. So as a housekeeper, well, I didn't know it was $28. Hold on, let me add this up. So $28 an hour times, say you work 40 a week, that's $4,480 a month. That comes out to $53,760 for housekeeping. Plus, on top of that, you get the cash tips of, let's just say, $6,000. It's about $60,000 a year. That's just saying. I mean, that's pretty good for doing housekeeping. I know it's a hard job. I mean, I used to be a custodian. I know it's hard work, but $60,000, that's pretty good. And in this article, they interviewed someone who was a housekeeper at the Hilton Hawaiian Village who said that she has to work 2 other jobs, including one that includes a weekly commute to Maui. So she's single mom, and the wages from her Hilton job are not enough to support her and her twin children and to send money back to the Philippines. Ooh. No wonder why. Those are some high expenses, especially if you're flying all the time. Yeah, and you gotta send money back to Philippines. Whew. So that's sort of the background for all of this. But the real reason I'm talking about this is more about now it's sort of impacting, you know, my parents and now me personally. And I just wanted to comment on this. There's a lot of collateral damage in this, right? Because it talks about, you know, this is for community, this is for you know, improving services, and I guess maybe in their mind they're just thinking, oh well, if they do this, then, you know, the tourists will complain. But it's not just tourists that are being affected by this, and I think that's an important element that I hope that the people think about, because again, I never really thought about that either. But it's one of those things where by demonstrating, you're just getting people who would want to support you in your community upset, right? I mean, maybe this is how I'm thinking. I think there's a right way and a not right way to do it. You know, I think you can peacefully protest, you can peacefully demonstrate, but I guess I'd just make sure to be mindful of who you're actually demonstrating toward, against. I don't know how that works, but like, if you're inconveniencing a lot of other people that have nothing to do really with your situation, I think it's just making people more upset, and that public sentiment is really what you're kind of garnering for, right? I would assume as because you're protesting, you're waving signs, right? Like, you're not waving it for yourself, right? You're waving it so the public can see, so the news comes down and sees, the interview and all that. But if you're just inconveniencing like people just trying to like go about their day, I think that's the wrong way to do it. And I would just hope that if we're gonna have more strikes, which they're saying that if the Hilton Hawaiian Village one goes on for a long time, that's gonna be like the spear tip, and then maybe other hotels go on strike too to make their point. I just hope that they remember like who are they up against at the bargaining table? And it's too bad that regular people, guests, and even local guests, are the ones who are going to be suffering from that. They're going to be bothered by it, and if that's the goal, then good job. But I'd hope that they recognize that there's a right way to do it and a way that is just the not right way to do it. It seems like everybody's going to go on strike now. I mean, the dock worker is going to go on strike, I hear, maybe. I don't know. But it just, I guess it's starting to catch up with us in Hawaii. And it's hard because, we do want people to be able to afford to live here. I see a lot of the signs and they say like they want to be able to afford to live in Hawaii on one income. Me too. Me too, absolutely. And I think we have to ask ourselves, okay, if you do a certain type of job, is that enough? Should that be enough? Like if you go work at McDonald's or maybe a job that requires less skills, should you be able to afford to live in a place like Hawaii? Right? And I can't answer that question, but all I'm thinking about is, yeah, I would also love one job. And I'm thankful that I have one job and I'm able to afford to live in Hawaii. And that's enough for our family to live. But it also means that we sacrifice too. It's like, we're not going like Vegas, like I don't have a new truck. And, especially where our family is positioned, we don't get to take advantage of a lot of these like public assistance programs. Like I assume like if you're making, maybe you're working at a hotel, you have access because the income is maybe not as high. Like you have access to, federal program like, food subsidy, rent subsidy, and so there is assistance, I think there, but I don't know how to put this nicely, but it's like, I don't know if on a fundamental level, every person who works a full-time job should live in Hawaii. It's gotten to the point where it's so expensive here that I'm not sure if that's economically even possible, right? I mean, you can see that through multi-generational housing. And again, it's a fundamental question that we have to ask ourselves. I think more importantly, though, rather than increasing the wages, because that's wonderful, I think, increase the wages and of course there'll be other effects like increase the cost for everybody, but you want to increase the wages so people have more money, right? But part of it is the financial literacy part, because you can make uku billion bucks, right? Like you can make like $100,000, you can make plenty of money. But if you don't know how to manage it and you're going off, you're buying stuff, you're going to Ross every week, you buy 2 new trucks and a boat, you go Vegas, you go out to eat every night or every weekend, you do the whole Instagram lifestyle spending spree thing, then of course you're gonna be poor because you're not managing the money well. And so maybe that's where we could try to change a little bit as a society, local culture wise, right? It's not so much spend, but like, okay, things are tight here, but how do we use what we have the best that we can? And yeah, maybe we gotta make sacrifices. We cannot just buy whatever we like. Cannot buy a new iPhone every year, right? Maybe, you cannot buy the Nike shoes, right? You gotta put the money where it's the most important. You gotta prioritize, and that's hard. But that's just how life is. I cannot buy whatever I want. I wish I could, I wish I could buy, but you gotta sacrifice. You gotta, I'm driving a 20-year-old car, right? And that's just what you have to do, because you got to live within your means. At least that's how I was raised. So, sorry, that's like a side tangent. And then we got the income tax changes that are going to be coming up in the subsequent years here. And hopefully that'll help people who are making lower wages wipe out some of the income tax. But still, you get all that money back, right, that you normally wouldn't have for income tax. What you going to do with it? Pay off debt, or you're going to buy Louis Vuitton bag? You know what I mean? Like, it's like stuff like that I hope that we think about those things, because I know people make a whole bunch of incomes here. Some people are very wealthy, some people are struggling to make it. But I would hope that we we try to figure out why the people at the bottom are struggling. You know, is it just they got to make more money? And I talked about this with my minimum wage video. When the minimum wage goes up, that's wonderful that more people now have money, but who's teaching them how to manage more of that money, right? Like, just because you got more money, what does that mean for you and your family? And I think that's why, looking back, school time, I mean, you know, education here locally, I think it's really important that we teach the kids that you gotta live within a budget. You know, you cannot just buy whatever you like. I know. It's like I feel like I need it. I get it. There's so many things I feel like I need. I know for us as parents, we gotta teach our kids, like, you cannot just get whatever you want. Or if you want that, you gotta sacrifice and save and work hard to get that. And then when you get it, be proud, you know? But you cannot just buy whatever you like, because then you're gonna run out of money. You know, the paycheck to paycheck thing, that's hard. I'm glad that we don't have to do that. But I was also raised to not do that. And I've also made sacrifices in my own personal life so that we're not in that particular situation. You know, we don't have 3 cars. You know, we have 1 old car that thankfully is paid off, because it's nice not to have a car payment every month. Student loan gone. I had to pay that off, so we don't have student loan going off all the time. And it's hard. Absolutely, it's hard, you know, but that's just what you got to do when you live here. So anyway, when it comes to this type of issue, again, I know it's hard. I know people want more money. I get it. But again, I'd also ask, got to make sure that we're using the money the right way, you know, because just because you get more money does not mean your life's going to get better. It's not. I mean, most people just end up spending to their limit, and then they're just as broke and they're struggling financially, so they feel like they got to make more money, and then it just grows and grows and grows, like any type of budget, right? It just starts growing. Budgets don't necessarily shrink. Maybe they may, depends on the economic output, but most of the time, right? Budgets just grow, and household budgets are also like that. They just continue to grow, especially when you make more money. So it's kind of a little bit different video. And again, I probably wouldn't talk about it, but because my parents are at the hotel this week, I thought I would bring it up because, I think it's important. And this issue and this event, no matter how long it goes, is part of a bigger, broader discussion that I think we need to have in Hawaii on affordability. Like, for real, what is affordability? Because there's plenty of people that are struggling, and I just want to take a closer look and maybe talk about, how did they get that? What are the expenses? Do us locals, do we know how to manage our money? Or are we just blowing it all off and we don't know what we're doing? We'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and aloha.